Hey, welcome everyone joining us, whether you're over on LinkedIn or whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or another platform. Welcome. Excited to have this conversation. This is the Brokerhood, where we have real conversations with real consultants. And we're going to unpack today a story and a strategy with a broker who's been a part of BAI for quite a while. And he's tried a couple different strategies, and we're going to learn about his story, how he got into this, what didn't work, and now kind of the pivot into what he's doing now. Man, I'm excited to unpack this entire thing, as he's also going to bring on his daughter, kind of help talk about their partnership and what this looks like to build this business and to help their clients really pursue their dreams of business ownership via the vehicle of franchise ownership. So if you got any questions, make sure you drop your questions in the chat. We'll get those asked to Joe and Sarah today as we go along the way. Also, if you want to learn more as we go, feel free to either click the link in the chat, or there was a QR code, or will be up later to you can gather more information, access more content. You can even take an assessment to see how you compare to some of our top consultants, and we can schedule a call to really get the conversation going for you today as well. I think that is all. So without further ado, let's welcome in the one and only Joe and Sarah Spagnoli. Hey, my friends, welcome to the Brokerhood. Thanks for being a part of this.
Hey, Jared, how to see you? Good to see you.
It's good to see you guys too, man. And I can't wait to see you again in person at the annual BAI conference coming up here in really just a few months. It's going to be here quick. Yeah. So it's for those of you listening, it's our network's annual conference. We get a whole network together: our franchisors, our suppliers, and our broker partners like Joe and his daughter Sarah. You're going to be there this year too. I'm excited for all of that. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Let's start with your story, Joe. Could you tell us, how did you first really get into franchise consulting, and what drew you to this business?
Well, my background was in financial planning. I had an investment firm for about 25 years, and really it was a consultative based program working with high net worth individuals. Diversification, non-correlated assets, that fun stuff. Okay. And then things just kind of evolved. After 2008, I sold the firm and started developing deals myself, and things were going great. And then COVID hit. And frankly, at that point, I went online looking to buy a bar in the Caribbean. The girls were in college. And I'm like, I'm going to go look at this kind of stuff. And I stumbled across a BAI advertisement, and here I am. So, but what I thought was really cool about the franchising thing was it was literally my same type of clients, tend to be a little more middle income, higher net worth clients. But I wasn't selling a product anymore. I was selling them the ability to make money. And that excited me. Having been an entrepreneur all my life, I was like, wow, I can help people become entrepreneurs. And it just kind of lit a fire inside me.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you ended up kind of joining your dad in the first place?
Absolutely. So I went to college for business and marketing, and immediately I knew I wanted to do sales and eventually become an entrepreneur. Growing up with my dad doing all the different things he did, I definitely knew I wanted to own my own thing one day, but I wasn't really sure what that was. Okay. So I ended up going into commercial flooring sales out of college. Okay. And I really loved that job. It was an awesome territory. It was really competitive, but the products are really similar between other flooring companies. So I started to learn about, consultative selling and really using those relationships to problem solve and make the sales. Okay. But then I got bored and moved to San Diego. So I decided to start over last year, and now I'm actually in life insurance, or I was in life insurance sales. Okay. But something about life insurance sales is I didn't feel like I had that deep connection with my clients that I was making doing flooring sales. So when I saw my dad, what he was doing, I was really interested. And I thought there might be an opportunity to go into that as well. And I liked how he was literally giving people their dream and allowing them to become the entrepreneur they've always wanted to. Yeah. So from there, I just was like, teach me everything you can.
Yeah. Wow. That's so good. I love what you just said. That you didn't feel like in your past sales role that you felt like you had the real connection that you had even in flooring sales which is crazy. And then to see the
Surprising.
connections that your dad has with his clientele and his candidates. And that's what this really is all about. So, but Joe, can you tell us a little bit about the early years and what that was like for you as a broker, and what were some of the biggest challenges or lessons that you learned along the way?
Well, I think the biggest challenge for all of us is finding people to talk to, finding qualified candidates that are actually ready to do something. And, BAA has a lot of resources, which was great. So I was super excited to jump in and really get it. And I tried several different lead aggregators and found some of them were, a waste of money, frankly. They just, nothing was happening. I did the preset ones, which didn't work out. I got a lot of volume, but I still wasn't getting the penetration I was looking for, right? I was spending more money I thought I should be spending to generate, this stuff. And in my previous role, to find clients, I did a lot of seminars back in the day. That was the thing, you did seminars. But with the reach of BAI, being able to work anywhere and work with people all over the country, that doesn't really work. So you really have to figure out a way to connect with people.
Okay.
And I just kind of felt the results were so-so, although Sarah and I and her sister spent a month in Belize on the beach, and I worked from there for a while. So that was a nice perk. But at the same time, finding enough people to talk to I think is always the challenge. And last year, I think, created an even bigger challenge. We had just a lot going on, politically, economically, things were happening. And I started to realize these leads I was getting, I was just spending thousands of dollars a month and it wasn't working. And I just felt like I needed to make a change. And that's what kind of spurred it. And it was actually the last BAA conference. I ran into PAS Digital, didn't really think much of it. But by the end of the year, I reached out and decided I was going to make a change. And here we are.
Yeah. All right. And it seems like every broker has a different experience with kind of the strategy that you're talking about, right? Because one of the biggest challenges, all brokers, all consultants, anyone in really any kind of industry that they face is lead generation. Is where are the quality people going to come from? Not just because like you want to close deals, make money. Obviously, that's why we're in any business. But there's also this deeper, like this literally genuine passion to help other people get into business ownership and take control of their future, their lives. And when you can't find those kinds of people, that passion can really wane, right? It can allay. And that's the dangerous, the hard part about this business. And so with that being the biggest challenge, then, like you just said, you've worked with the traditional kind of lead, maybe generation portals or websites or whatever it might be. What, because again, every broker has different experiences. Can you tell us what did work about them?
Well, initially,
good experiences about them.
Yeah, there were, I think the one thing when you first start out, it feels a bit like a scatter. You're just throwing a lot of things out there. So you might have like 8 different brands you're generating leads from. And a lot of times those ones, people have already been called by 5 other people, because when they click that portal, they were probably sitting in front of their computer with a glass of wine, clicking, oh, I'd do that. Oh, I like that. I like that. And then they get mad at you for calling because 50 people have already called them. So I made a move to biz by sell, to target one brand to see how that would work. And I had some good success there. I got sales from other brands, but it seemed like the people there were a little more actively looking for a business on that website versus some of the lead ag sites. But those leads are expensive. And the last 6 months of doing it, the penetration rate was probably less than 5%. I was just writing checks for nothing. Yeah. So that's, you have to start evaluating your runway and your spend when you're running a business, and it wasn't working. So I kind of felt like I wanted to just stop that process and just start over and start something from scratch. Yeah. And that's kind of what we did.
Okay. So Sarah, when you kind of came on board, then when you joined your father and you first looked at how, clients were being acquired and where these quote unquote leads were being generated, what stood out to you about it?
So, with life insurance, it's the same thing. You're buying leads and you're dialing for dollars, right?
Yep.
More than
Smile.
half,
Yep.
the majority aren't qualified. So when he hands me this CRM with all these people in it, I was like, "Oh no, not this again." Like, these are like, so many of these people just,
Yeah.
they're filling out the form online because 'cause they're curious, but they're
Mhm.
not necessarily qualified buyers. And I was like, "Okay, we're not doing this." So the first thing I was thinking is what's the best way to get people to come to us, right? And it's not just gonna be Googling, buy a franchise, whatever. So thought it would be a good idea to start doing some social media stuff.
Yeah.
And instead of chasing all these random leads, calling them, having them yell at you because you're the 50th call,
Right. Yeah.
let's like create something that attracts the right people,
Yeah.
people who are already interested in business ownership and want to learn about franchising.
Mm.
And especially when you're using social media, you can do it at an education standpoint. So you can educate people on how it works, like what that process looks like, what it looks like to work with us. And then from there, if they really are interested, they can reach out to us. And then it's already someone who kind of understands the process.
Yeah.
So the goal was that this would weed out, the random people
Mm.
drinking wine, watching their TikToks,
Right. Yeah.
kind of help push us towards some more qualified clients.
Yeah, yeah. So you started. Let's get into it because you started building this social media presence, right? And it's already generating pretty strong engagement in really a short amount of time. So walk us through the strategy you're currently using.
So my main goal was to, first of all, show up on the camera and be like, a trustworthy face. I wanted people to get to know me
Mhm.
and my style and what I do. And I also wanted them to feel like they could come to me with questions and understand. But then, I have my own social media, right? And I did not want it to draw in the same demographic that I personally draw in. So that
Okay.
was the first challenge, is trying to create content geared toward these clients that are, into their careers,
Yeah.
actually have money to spend, are ready for this type of
Mhm.
investment. So I did a lot of research on the type of videos they watched. I filmed them in a certain way to try and engage that crowd. And
Okay.
actually, I did pretty well. The majority of my views are from people in the right age and demographic group, which is super cool. But we hit almost 100,000 views in, a month and a half, which is amazing. And
Wow.
I
Yeah.
a lot of that has to do with my consistency. So posting every day, but not
Mm.
oversaturating their feed was with the clients in the age group we're looking at. They don't want to be spammed. They want to kind of come to you. So I
Mm.
do stuff once a day. I do different types of posts and I do, questions, stuff like that. And that
Mm.
seemed to do really well, just kind of mixing it and just making sure it's not stuff that just like 20-year-olds want to watch, or like
Yeah.
high schoolers. Like, making it engaging to the older crowd was the biggest challenge for me, but
Yeah.
it's honestly
Wow.
working. So I think it's going pretty well.
Wow. So have you then I have so many questions about this. So did you start with your ideal client type? Did you kind of create the avatar of the individual you're trying to hit? And what does that look like?
So I knew we were aiming for people in their like 40s, 50s age, people who are already solidified in a career, people who, upper like actually have cash flow to spend, right?
Okay.
And so the first thing I did research on is what those type of people watch.
Yeah.
I
And what
followed
does that mean, Sarah? Did you just Google what are 40-year-olds with money watching? Like how do you go about researching that?
So I follow different people, and I
Okay.
was, just on the explore page looking up like business, entrepreneur, and finding popular accounts. And I was looking at the style they were filming those
Yeah.
videos in, and essentially just mimicking it with our topics. Like, kind of funny, but something that age group watch a lot of is called talking head videos, where you're just kind of
Yep.
like holding your phone in front of your face.
Yep.
Like, for some reason, they always watch those, and my
Mm.
watch time is long when I do it that way versus like if I'm like walking around filming. So just little stuff like that. I
Okay.
was trying and seeing what the engagement was like, and a lot more engagement when I'm actually in the video, I noticed too. So stuff like that.
Okay.
And just kind of laying it out like under a minute. So yeah, I did do research,
Okay.
use the marketing degree I got.
That's awesome.
Thank you for using that marketing degree you got. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
Joe. I mean, what? Yeah, you had this gift just really kind of handed to you in a basket here, but you've taken you're leveraging it to really build your business. How involved, Joe, are you in the content, the strategy behind what you
Yeah,
guys
well,
are pushing online?
Yeah, well, so some of the initial ones she did was like the 6 steps to buying a franchise, and so
Okay,
I would give her feedback. She would send me the,
right.
she'd send me the minute video, and it'd be like, "Well, change this, do this." So we kind of work through them. So I get a little editorial preview of everything and get to
Yeah,
approve it. But
yeah.
and because the industry is new to her too, one of the things that she did that I thought was kind of cool was she just took some of my website content. My new website went up and took the stuff I had on there, threw it
Okay.
into Chat GPT to
Yeah.
summarize it. Then she
Mhm.
kind of regurgitated it back, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah. Wow.
So she's been really active at just trying to learn the business, and by
Yeah.
learning it and creating these videos, it's been a nice synergy
Yeah.
that way too.
Wow, this is gold. You guys just keep dropping all these little golden nuggets of things you're doing or have done that have worked. So give us some more. What are some current things or current types of content that really seem to be gaining traction or the most traction right now? Because it's always changing. It's always morphing. Things that work now aren't always going to work. Things that worked back in the day aren't working now. So what are some things you are seeing that are gaining traction right now?
So something first that wasn't working is like just using popular sounds, if that, on Instagram, TikTok.
Okay.
So we don't do that anymore. But something that is working really well is a lot of the information I'll get, like my dad said, from his website, I'll turn it into a story. Like
Hmm.
I'll frame it as if was talking with a client when I'm teaching the information, because then
Okay.
people feel more involved and it feels more like, they're like in it versus me just saying, oh, this is how you buy a franchise. It's
Yeah.
like, no, this is what Bob did when he went to buy a franchise. And just kind of going through it in a storytelling way, it's not only more fun for me, but it's also more fun for the people to listen to. And then, you're kind of hooked. You're like, oh, what did Bob do next? Like, how did he get to purchase the franchise? So
Yeah.
I've definitely liked doing that and just being creative.
Yeah.
I use a lot of content that I take down here in San Diego, which I also like doing. So, we'll go to the beach, whatever, go to restaurants, and
Oh,
we'll
sure.
use stuff as the background. So that's been fun too.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm in the Midwest, and so I feel like that'd be a little more difficult with my background being mostly cornfields,
Fun.
but I like it.
Tumbleweed.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. No, that's so good. What platforms are you finding the most traction on right now?
So Instagram Reels has been by far the most engaging.
Okay.
TikTok, I do post on that one too, and
Mm,
we have like some traction, but the Instagram's doing a lot better. And
yeah.
just the Reels, posting Reels every single day. We have
Hmm.
like Myth Monday, Franchise Friday, like making fun things. The age group also likes the fun things, so I've been doing that too. But
Okay. Good. Now, Joe, you used to you were spending quite a bit of money in just trying to acquire clients, right? And you had
Mhm.
a certain amount that you're a high cost per lead. What is that looking like now for you? Is this purely organic? Do you put any funds toward this? What does it look like?
It's purely organic. We're not paying to increase the views of the ads or anything like that. So it's purely
Okay.
organic, and she's developing this following of people that are stopping to listen about franchises.
Mm,
And I think what we realize is that it's not going to be one thing that's going to make somebody reach out to us. It's going to be
okay.
several things that do. And the different stories she talks about people in different stages of their life and different,
Yeah.
you're getting tired of the corporate world, you're this or that, you got out of the military, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Different topics and things that resonate with people,
Yeah.
I think is definitely helping.
Mm,
And on the more traditional side, I'm using an AI generator on LinkedIn. And what I'm finding is that we started both programs at the same time,
okay.
and we're kind of at the same place, because I knew the LinkedIn thing was kind of organic. It's going to take 3 months to really kind of get going.
Okay.
But the amount of engagement we're getting over there is right about parallel with where we are over here. So now we have these two tracks And and the one thing I went into it realizing was it wasn't going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge part of this marketing strategy is it's not going to be we
Patience.
posted today, we're making money tomorrow. And that's okay, because I think the longer term view of what we're trying to accomplish is create a steady lead flow down the road.
Yeah.
And I think it requires a little bit of patience, but at the same time, we're continually, educating, those 100,000 views. We're continually educating those people. And like I said, our main demographics, 40 to 65 male, is what's kind of tuning in. So that's, kind of your typical buyer that we want in the franchise world anyways. So the point we're at now is increasing the engagement, looking to, giving them more ways to connect with us, just like you do on your channel, click here, link here, same kind of thing. DM her, she'll give a different buzzword, DM boss or DM, franchise, or, different stuff to just engage them.
Okay.
And
that's what I was going to ask is what the next step is. Like, how do you get them from watching your reels to actually generating a conversation or creating a client, creating a lead out of it?
So people have DM'd me on the accounts before. So that's one way. They'll just directly DM you or they'll comment and I'll reach out. But
can you reiterate for those who don't know, what does DM mean?
So on Instagram or TikTok, you can direct message, message the person posting. So it's unlocked so they can DM us or message us if they're interested. And we also have a form you can fill out in our bio that kind of, you just put your information and then we'll reach out to you.
Yeah.
So just the basic stuff, but we make it pretty easy. So if someone ever comments, I'm jumping right on that and I'm reaching out to them like, hey, is this something you're interested in? Yeah. Let's set up a discovery call and let's, see if this is something that can work for you.
That's the speed to lead action right there, right? That's the replacing the smile and dialing strategy.
Exactly.
They've said something, they've engaged. You got to engage back right away with them, right? I love that. You mentioned, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I have her now on my LinkedIn because there's so much engagement happening there that she'll jump in as me when they're like, oh, I want to meet. Great. Let's set an appointment, type of thing.
Great.
So, and that's the other part. I think you have to, if you do some of these things, you've got to be reacting to the responses and staying on top of them and not just hoping an appointment ends up on your calendar kind of thing. So there's definitely some activity that I think you need to do. And so I've turned that over to her. So now she just monitors all these conversations through the AI gen on LinkedIn. And when someone looks like they're ready to talk, then she'll jump on and, let's set a meeting, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So let's say I'm a new broker. I'm just now getting started and I want to create a social media strategy, not just, I'll post sometimes here and there, but I actually want to leverage these platforms to do this very thing, to help people find businesses. What would you recommend? What are just the first couple steps or first few things you would recommend if they're just starting out and trying to leverage social media as a way to acquire clients? What do they do?
Well, for me, I'll let Sarah answer too, but I think for me, it's define your message. What is it? Because social media is an ocean of information out there, right? So picking and choosing the message you want to deliver and then continually expand on it, but continually, repeat that message because, attention span is short on social media. So it's repetition is what's going to drive engagement. And without the repetition and her doing the daily thing, I mean, that's important because their algorithm is going up. Here's another one that you watch. Here's another one that you watch, and they're going to see it and keep seeing these things. So, which is also why every Friday we're trying to highlight different franchises just to get something, out there for people. Yeah. But what would you say, Sarah, as a way to start the process?
I think that people like to, get to know people and understand what they're doing. So for a new broker, just showing their day-to-day and what they're doing and kind of explaining and educating is the best way to do it. Having a conversation about what it's like. I think that really draws people in.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's so good. You mentioned remaining consistent. And I think, Sarah, you said you do this every day, correct?
I do.
Is there anything else you would say along those lines too? Of like, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it well, you have to be prepared for this.
I mean, if you don't want to post every day and be consistent, I don't think people are going to trust you, right? It's like, why
Mm.
would they want to work with someone if they can't even show up for themselves
Hmm.
online to like educate
Interesting
people?
take. Yeah, I love that.
Just continuing to do it, and it's also great for the algorithm, as we all know. So just doing it every day. People see you showing up, they'll start showing up too. They'll start expecting to see what you post, and they'll start thinking about you, which is what you want. Because if this is something that might work for them, then they're going to reach out to you if that's their next step. So
Yeah.
great
Wow.
way to connect.
And the other thing that we learned right in the very beginning was that there's something wrong with my face, is what Sarah told me when she had me shoot the first video. She's like, "What's wrong with your face? Why do you look like that?" So I think being comfortable on camera and being able to talk to your phone and deliver your message is important. So if you're not comfortable, find someone who is, type of thing.
Well,
But
I haven't
literally,
noticed anything wrong with your face, Joe. So obviously it worked.
well,
Her
usually
coaching,
this
her
is
coaching.
okay, but when I was holding this thing, she's
call
like,
it.
"Why is your arm there? Why are you looking at the
You're like,
sun?"
got it, like it was ridiculous.
So
You're not
yeah,
gonna put that on
so there
there.
was something on my face, Jared, is what she basically told me.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's so good. Guys, I can't thank you enough for being a part of this and doing this. And audience too, if you're watching this, you want to get connected with Joe and Sarah. And for whatever reason, either you want to learn more about their strategy or you want to work with them about trying to find a future business for yourself. And you can do that as well. Drop a comment below. We can get you connected right away. While they're doing that, Joe, tell us if a new franchise consultant or if someone who's exploring becoming a consultant, if they came to you tomorrow and they asked, what's the one thing I must get right in order to be successful at this business? What would you say?
Listening to what your clients want. I mean, listening to what their dreams are. It's not about finding something and making them fit. Don't pick a product. Don't approach them with a product in mind. Because at the end of the day, this is probably one of the biggest investments they'll ever make.
That's right.
And you want them to sleep at night knowing they're happy and they made a good decision.
Yeah.
And last thing you want is forcing something onto somebody and then 6 months in, they're like, why did I do this? So I think that's the biggest one, listening to what their dreams are, because it's about their dreams, not you making money.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Sarah, is there anything you would add to that?
Well, I think that as far as social media goes, if they're going to go that route instead of just purchasing leads, the intent behind what we're doing, the fact that we're trying to educate people and get them to trust us is creating much warmer, more qualified conversations, and it's also free. So I think that's a great way to do it when you're getting started, and it's a great, source to generate leads.
Yeah, it's so true, because especially when you're getting started, you're going to have the time to do this.
Exactly.
So invest it wisely for the long run. Sarah, Joe, where can they see your stuff? Can they go anywhere to see your videos, see your content?
Yeah. Go ahead, Sarah.
On Instagram and TikTok, it's franchiseconsultants.info. And then my dad's LinkedIn has information too.
Okay, good. Okay, good deal. I'll drop that in the comments there, franchiseconsultants.info. So you can see examples and even really get maybe some encouragement, some inspiration.
Yeah, all of your stories are on there. So
that's so great, guys. Guys, thank you again so much for sharing your wisdom, your experience. This has been incredibly helpful. And again, audience, if you're interested in learning more about franchise consulting, or if you want to get connected with the Spagnoli's as well, drop a comment below, send us a DM, and we'll get you connected right away. Until next time, appreciate you all. Take care.
Thanks, Jared. I appreciate you.
Because at the end of the day, Business Alliance, it's not about us. This has nothing to do with Brandon Clifford, the CEO, or Gina Johnson, our president. What we really are is we're just a platform. We're here to allow brokers, brands, and suppliers to connect with one another, to elevate their business, to really encourage people to bet on themselves and become a business owner through the business model of franchising.
you.